Welcome to paradise, Zach. This is paradise.
Look around, boys.
Look around.
It's paradise.
It's paradise. Hey, everybody.
Neither of us has the Boston accent to really make that work, unfortunately.
I have, like, a Rhode Island Boston accent, but it's like...
Oh, man. But you
there's
don't
no
get the...
Oz. There's no Oz in that sentence. So...
Look around, boys. It's paradise.
Look around.
We're terrible. We're terrible, and that man is terrible.
We don't know.
Knew him all of 5 seconds, and he's terrible.
We didn't even meet him. We
viewed him. We viewed him from across the street.
we viewed him.
We observed him in his natural habitat.
His natural
Boston.
His natural Boston habitat. Maybe because like
no,
he was dressed up. He was dressed up for that.
Not even that. I think he probably went to school around there, but he's definitely from somewhere else. This is like I'm going to college in Boston, and look at me living out in the real world with the real people on my parents' dime.
Yep. It was. Oh man. But hey, everybody! Anyway. Welcome to the show. This is Say Report Jr., a podcast thing you should be listening to, subscribe to, downloading every single week. I thought there was a fourth thing, but I guess not.
Yeah, I got nothing funny to add. Okay.
So welcome.
Dayle. Oh, say names. We need to say names.
Oh, names. Yes, you said my name. I'm Dayle Decker, everybody, and I am joined by
a very confused Zach Sarowick. A very, very confused Zach Sarowick.
And like you're confused, so I'm confused, but Dayle, I'm confused that I don't even know what's happening right now.
There's a show.
I don't know what you're about to say.
A show has premiered, starring the wonderful, the talented, the amazing Emily Osment, and 2 other people who I think are also talented, but I forget their names or who they are. I just know Emily Osment. It's called Almost Family. It's on Fox.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it.
Also
it's Brittany Snow.
Also has thank you. I knew there was someone else in there I would recognize.
I don't know the other.
I don't remember the third sister.
Yeah.
And Timothy Hutchins, the guy from Leverage. And Dark Half. Very good. Very good. Cool. Didn't watch it. This has nothing to do with the actual show.
I wanted to watch it. Are you going to ruin this for me?
I've seen trailers, but no, I don't know anything about the show beyond the basic premise. But I will say this. Take a wild guess. If you had to guess who, the production logos, the production companies, the people who made this show, Dayle, what would you say? Probably... I mean, this is a post Disney owning Fox World. I will say, hint, there is not a Disney logo here.
Is it like freaking the Weinberg?
No. He's not. No, none of that's involved. No.
That'd be crazy.
No. This is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is the problem? This is a production.
Wait, what?
Of not quite Fox. It's a new turn for Fox. It's a new era for Fox, and as such, they've decided that Fox Productions is actually going to be called Zoff Productions, XOF Productions. Almost Family is the only show under their title at the moment, and the only proof anybody has of this is one, I checked this on IMDb and Wikipedia to make sure I was not being completely ripped off by the internet, and people on Twitter who were like, can you see this shit? This shit is ridiculous. I cannot find anywhere else. I can't find, I could find YouTube videos that are like, here's the thing, where it says Fox Productions, and then it reverses Fox to say Zoff, and it's like a 2-second logo at the end of the thing, and that's it. I can't find other proof of the thing's existence. It's not even a Wikipedia page. It's just a title on Wikipedia. It doesn't have like a stub even. And why? Why is this a thing, Dayle? What is
counter? Zoff? Hey, are we sure it's not key of?
I mean, still. Is that
just wanted
better?
To make a Kingdom Hearts joke.
The key of productions.
The key of productions. It could be. It could be.
Oh my God, Dayle! Why is this?
I think Key of Productions is a better name.
Still, sure. I mean, at the very least, you put in Disney in there and you call it Key of D.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I said it out loud and I didn't like it. I did. Dale, who went into a Fox boardroom and was like, now we're doing like freeform style shows now apparently by getting a bunch of mid-20s actresses in a drama show about family. We need to make sure people understand that this is Disney's thing,
Z-
but we can't call them right out. So what if we just flip that logo around? The name of our company, that's not even our company anymore. Just flip that name around.
so, is it Disney rebranding or is it
I
Fox rebranding?
the problem is they're one and the same now,
Yeah,
Dale.
but that's
Fox
the
Entertainment
thing.
is like who made the decision? I don't know.
Well, like
I cannot tell you who made that decision, but like literally Almost Family is the only show that they have produced under this logo so far. Like it is the first thing to come out, which
is
tells me it has to be it has to be part of the Disney acquisition.
it still the lettering of Fox?
No, it is. Yes, it literally says Fox Productions, and then in the 2 seconds that logo is up, they swap the F and the X around. Like that's what the logo is on screen. That's the animation. Is it saying Fox Productions and then swapping around to say Zoff Productions? And they don't swap productions around, so it's not like they're just reversing it for some reason. They are straight up just swapping the X and the F.
Well,
And it says on when you find it on, like I said, on IMDb, on Wikipedia, it says Zoff, capital X, lowercase o, lowercase f.
Kiev Productions.
Kiev Productions,
Key.
Russian.
I mean, okay. Did you?
Oh, sorry, it is all capital letters. So XOF is all capital, I guess.
Okay. Did you Google just that and nothing
Yes,
came
and
up?
what came up was the Wikipedia and IMDb page for Almost Family, and then a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with anything, because they did not know what I was Googling. So like Zoff Productions doesn't even have its own website. If you go to Fox, Almost Family is just under their entertainment section, and there's nothing that says Zoff anywhere. This is just a thing that showed up. Like this is like a secret production company they've stuck into Fox now.
So I almost feel like it's just like
Because Fox Entertainment still exists, though. So I don't know why Fox Entertainment and Fox Production, like they had to swap out Fox Productions for this instead.
I mean, if it's
It's
the
a-
only one, here's the thing. If it was new, if it was a new production company, or even if it was a side production company, I feel like there would be more news about it. The fact that it's just on this one show makes me feel like it's just on this show. Like it doesn't mean it could mean something for the show. Like I don't know. I don't.
it's almost like they wanted to be like, it's almost like when they, because Disney buys Fox and then Dark Phoenix comes out, right? And Dark Phoenix is like the last like real Fox movie before Disney took everything. It almost feels like they didn't quite get Fox Productions in the in the sale. Like they don't get the rights to anything under Fox Productions or under Fox Entertainment, so they have to they had to come up with a new name for it so they can make sure it was one they owned for themselves. You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like they're intentionally trying to swap it out because this is them saying like this is it. This is the line. Anything that's under Zoff Productions is part of this that we can make money off of in like licenses and streaming licenses and stuff that's under just the Fox Productions or whatever it was is like has its own rights things that we may or may not have.
Disney.
Right. Like I don't know what it means. It's just that I saw it and I was like, that can't be real. Someone on the internet is trolling me, and then I went searching it and it was real. It was a real thing, and I cannot
don't
believe that would be what they went with. I cannot believe someone did not stop them from this thing.
We're just like, let's just switch the letters
Oh,
around.
and apparently, I'm looking at like the two, like literally the two frames, and apparently it starts off saying Fox Entertainment, and then when it flips around, it says Zoff Productions. So it's almost like Zoff Productions is like a sub underneath Fox Entertainment now. I don't
Which,
know
I
what that
mean,
means.
it kind of makes sense. It's just a strange...
Yeah, like I don't know if that means it's like this is where, like I said, like our CW-esque mid-20s, like late teens, mid-20s shows are going. I don't know if that's going to be like the Fox Originals now. Is it going to be under Zoff Productions? I don't know what it means. I just
Has someone said Zoff?
no. This is me entirely saying it out loud because I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's just me trying to say Fox backwards, which I guess would be Zoff. Zoff.
Zoff.
I'm going off xylophone on this.
Yeah. Zoff. Yeah, I guess. But that's XY. Zai. I don't know. That's weird. I don't...
It's also apparently the other reason that people are freaking out about it is apparently in Metal Gear Solid 5, something is labeled XOF, and people are just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh. Well, that's funny as shit. That's funny as shit. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I'm almost hesitant to believe it, like the world, because there's no articles about it. That's weird. Like I understand where your confusion is coming from.
Zoff is apparently just like the bad
find
guys.
Anything.
Yeah, Zoff is apparently just the bad guys from Metal Gear. Go for Zoff, and their logo is a fox, and it's just Fox backwards. And
well, someone didn't do their research.
Or one intern knows exactly what that is and convinced them anyway. Came into that boardroom, kicked that boardroom down, and said, "Let me show you some awesome shit I found on the internet." And by internet, I mean this video game I've been playing for 30 years.
Oh my god. That's interesting. It's very interesting.
That's to say that we're now a Zoff production. I don't know what that means, so we get to call ourselves that until someone tells us we're not.
What?
I don't know. I want to meet Emily Osmond, and this is the easiest way to do it.
It's just brand us as
lie,
Zoff.
just lie and pretend we all work for the same people.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna go over well at the gate where like
Disney
we pull up with our like I don't know IDs and are like.
It will be this logo from Metal Gear. We'll use that one and
It'd
try and
like,
get in.
Hey, we're part of it. We're here. We're here to work on Almost Family. And they're like, yeah, seems legit. No, it wouldn't work.
One thing I've learned is that Disney has no security. Anyway.
Well, this show has been fun, Zach.
Yep, that was it. That's the episode.
This show has been fun. Disney is gonna find us. And they're shutting us down. Oh god.
Now that I've derailed the week, how have you been? How's things?
Good. Good. I don't know what to say after that. Yeah, no, it's been good. Ghostbusters Remastered came out.
It did. I'm bad at it. How are you? How are you enjoying it?
I love that game. I've loved that game ever since it came out in 2009. 2009.
It was 2009 because that was the 25th anniversary and that was the 35th anniversary.
Yeah. So it is one of my favorite video games of all time. Like literally of all time.
It's quite good. I've been enjoying it, but also I'm bad at it. It's what I've learned.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry that you're bad at it.
I keep blowing myself up and hitting boxes in front of me because it like takes a very literal idea of what's in front of your gun when you shoot.
Well, I need to watch you play this game is what I've come to the conclusion of.
Because you can't figure out what I'm doing?
Yeah. Because the ray is very like sporadic, but it also is very point blank where you shoot.
I mean, depending on how close you are.
Yeah.
That's the other problem is I tend to stand across the room and shoot at things. Because I'm a coward.
Well, wait, but if you're... Zach, you're supposed to not be afraid of ghosts. That's the whole central conceit of that game.
It's a very frightening game.
Oh
I will say this. It's actually a very good horror game, Dale.
I know it is. Just wait.
Like legitimately, it's a good horror game.
Oh, Zach, just you wait. You're still in the museum?
I'm in the museum. People started getting possessed, Dale.
Yeah, I know, Zach.
Oh,
I know. Just you wait, my friend. Just you wait.
Also,
that literal screams from a 9th grade Dale.
Like, there were parts of that fight, the possession fight, where it's like, okay, there's three ghosts, each of them can possess people, and if all three of your teammates get possessed and then I die, that's the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already having a problem where like my teammates would blow up and I'd be like, well, let me kill the things around them,
Yep.
and then I would go get them and revive them, but I would die in the process of trying to kill the things that had already downed my teammates, and that would fail.
No,
So
you
like,
gotta revive first.
oh God! Well,
You
the problem
need.
is that I've also died while reviving
Well,
people.
that's yeah.
Run up to
That
revive, and then they attack me.
that's gonna happen, but you gotta revive first. Except
There are
for
very
Ray.
aggressive books in that
Ray.
library.
There are aggressive books in the library. Ray almost never revives you. There were times when I was playing the original original release where literally I was down and Ray was standing next to me and would do nothing. And then like Winston or freaking Egon from across the way would come and revive me, and Ray was just there.
There's a
shooting
part of me
at a
that wonders.
ghost.
There's a part of me that wonders if they're each like programmed with a different level of paying attention to that, like
I don't
Egon
know.
and Winston. I keep wanting to just call him Ernie Hudson because over the years I've just gotten used to going, "Hey, it's Ernie Hudson" every time I see him. I just feel like you're right that Winston and Egon just seem more likely to
Yeah.
show up and do that.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Pete even does it too, but like Ray is almost never the one who revives you, and then he's always the one to go down first. And it's like
You just call
Ray.
Venkman Pete.
Yeah, I do.
I have never heard him called Pete before.
He's
Maybe Peter, but I
he
have
is-
never heard him
is-
called Pete.
definitely called Pete in the movie.
Is he? Because
Um,
I just remember it as Venkman or Sigourney Weaver saying Peter.
I
don't
am-
remember them ever saying
I
Peter.
am almost.
I mean, you would have seen it more often than I
Yes,
have, so
true.
you would know.
I'm
just,
like 98% sure that he's referred to as Pete in like one or two scenes by Ray. Like it's specifically by Ray.
maybe that's why. Maybe it just doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. It's like early. It would be early on in the movie, I believe. It happens. I'm 98% sure.
I mean, again, I'm gonna bow to you on that one, but
At the very least, though, that is definitely what Devin and I refer to him as.
no,
Like-
that's the thing. I believe that the two of you would do that. I was just like, it hit my ears so bad. I was like, wait, who's Pete? Wait, you mean Venkman?
That's great. Oh, that was great. But yeah, no, I freaking love that game. It is like, it's one of the first games I ever really beat too, because like I really only was getting into video games in high school, so it was like prime time for that. But like the other high schools I started in, the other games I started in high school were like LA Noire, Batman Arkham Asylum. Didn't finish either of those.
Which I cannot believe.
I got stuck and I was like, fuck this game.
What, in
Like-
Arkham?
Yes! I got stuck during this part and I'm like, I don't know what you want from me, game. I'm doing everything that you've taught me to do and I'm still not doing it right somehow.
There's one ledge over a fence you didn't go.
Yeah, like that was it. That like ended up being it or whatever. And I'm like, this is, fuck you. Like, come on. But it was like, there was a part where you're trying to sneak back into the asylum and there are snipers and I could not
right,
get
you told me
past
about
them.
that.
Yeah. I could not get past it. And then LA Noire, I think I just stopped.
Like the rest of us, you got really interested in the first level, and then we all went, I can't keep doing this, though.
No, actually, I really liked Arkham Asylum. It was just like, I just stopped. I was just kind of tired of it or whatever. I don't know. I always want to go back. I was very excited for the re-release on Switch and I think PS4. I think it came out.
Yeah,
out
I'm
for
sure
PS4.
it came out for PS4 on that, too.
But I was working at GameStop when that got re-released, and I was super excited. But I didn't end up buying it because
That
I
game
like
is-
I like that game in theory and an idea.
Yeah, just about. That game is like twice or three times the size of Breath of the Wild, which is a game notorious for being the launch Switch title and taking up 2/3 of the memory
Yep.
on it. And LA Noire is a game that requires you to own an SD card because it's too big for the Switch itself. It's like 57 gigs or something.
That's crazy.
And I bought it. I own it. It's sitting on, again, my very large SD card sitting on the Switch. And the same thing happened. I paid the $50 to rebuy that for probably the second or third time in my life because I definitely had it for 360, and I think I got it for PC, but I might have gotten it for free on like a PC bundle or something.
Yeah.
But I bought it for Switch, and I did the exact same thing I did with the 360, which is I played right up until the first interrogation and realized I did not know how to read their faces, and I got bad at it, and I hated it, and I moved on. And I was like, I'm never gonna learn.
I mean,
I'm never gonna learn empathy for these virtual people, so I won't know how to read their faces.
I got pretty far. I
watched a Let's Play. I ended up at some point in my life watching a Let's Play of that game and being like, oh, this game got really interesting toward the end.
So when you say the first interrogation...
I mean, like, the very first, like, the jewelry store robbery where, like, you go to the guy's house and you, like, have to interrogate his wife and, like, the guy that, like, owns the jewelry store or something. And I was so bad at reading the faces of the guy who owned the jewelry store, who I'm pretty certain killed him.
And you have to go to the house, and then you have to go and like put the air conditioning, like turn off the you have to do something with the air conditioning.
I don't know.
Okay. Cuz there's a part
I mean, I believe you. I don't know.
Cuz there's a part in it, and you're also in a bar. Like you have to go to a bar and interrogate
go to the bar.
someone. And then you have to go to the house.
To the bartender. I was bad at talking to the witness, and then I was bad at talking to his wife.
So you okay, but so what?
I mean, I got through that. You know what? I think I muscle through that because that's like the opening, so they basically tell you how to do it. But the next one after that, where the guy is like killed on the train tracks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never gotten past that one. I've never gotten past that one.
So you've never done the movie one?
Nope, I have never done 99% of that game, Dale.
Zach!
You want to know why? Because on the 360, when it wasn't even the interrogation, when I played on the 360, I was chasing the guy. You get into like a foot chase with the guy, and I thought I was firing in the air to stop him because they were like, oh, fire in the air, and it'll scare him. And I definitely shot a woman instead. And I was like,
God.
oh, I didn't do that. And so I like walked away. I was like, whoop, never mind. I'm a bad cop. I'm a very bad cop. I'm a bad cop. Because they like in the very first like chase, when they tutorialize it, they're like, oh, fire in the air, and sometimes it scares them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm gonna do that. So I just hit the button thinking he'd automatically go in the air if I didn't hit the aim button, and instead he just fired straight ahead of him instead. And so I shot the woman in front of me as I was like running through the park.
I am baffled. Hold on. Was that just on the Switch, or was that on 360?
No, that was when I did it on the 360, and then on the Switch, I got through that first. I did almost the same thing. I mean, I got through the first thing, and then I got to the second one with the guy dead on the train tracks, and then I screwed up one of those interrogations, and I was like, I'm just never gonna be good at this, guys.
So you didn't do the movie one, which
no,
is like literally I'm pretty sure the next one where it's like the young girl and they get in a car crash.
Yeah, because you
up
go
on the hill.
Because the way that works is he goes from being a beat cop to being a homicide or like a traffic detective or something,
and then
to then being an arson and then a homicide. It's like that's like the 3 acts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never got through. Nope. Never did.
Well, no, the actress one or the Hollywood one is like
it's the end of like the first act.
It's the third. It's the third case that you work on, and it's
it's the third case Zach never got to.
That one is the one that stuck with me because it was like a girl getting like manipulated and shit into doing movies, and like
it was Black Dahlia. It was Black Dahlia with Josh Hartnett. It
was bad, and I'm like, oh my god, that one stuck with me. That's so funny. That's so cool. Cool, I don't know. It's funny. I like that game. I really like the soundtrack of that game. I've just never gotten past that third case for reasons that I am not sure of. I think it gets to a point where I just stop playing games, not because I want to, it just happens, and I've just never revisited that one.
Dale sees a squirrel. And
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that distracted me. But yeah, no, Ghostbusters was this game in high school that I was like, I'm beating this. I don't even care. I'm beating it 100 times. Like, it, it, it just was so good, and I think it was because of my love of the movie mixed with my like newfound love of video games. I'm like, this is incredible. I get to be a Ghostbuster. I get to legitimately be a Ghostbuster.
I really wish that I had played it back then, but at the time I think I either only had a Wii. I don't remember if I had the 360 yet because I know I had the Wii first, and then at
Mm.
some point I actually no, I had a 360. It died. I got a Wii, and then at some point I replaced the 360. So it was like a period of time where I didn't have it, and I think in there is when Ghostbusters came out.
Yeah.
So like I knew that the Wii one was bad. That's all anybody ever talked about was that the Wii version of that game is bad.
Yeah, because you had to do a bunch of motion stuff. Like, you had
Right.
to.
They made it like super cartoony so that it
Yeah.
would actually work on the Wii,
Hmm.
which that doesn't bother me, but then it was like all motion.
It was all motion, and apparently didn't work well.
Of course not. Because
And I was very nervous for the Switch version because I was like, I kind of want it on the Switch because I want to be able to play this game wherever I go. Because it is such. It is now become a mindless game for me. Like, I know. Like,
so are you playing it on Switch right now?
Huh?
Did you end up getting it on Switch then?
Yes,
Or did you
yeah.
get it on PS4?
Oh, we got it on PS4 and Switch.
Oh, well, good for you.
Because I've never gotten the platinum for that game. And
So you went with Switch, which notoriously doesn't have achievements.
No, well, that's why we got it on PS4 too. Is like, well, at least for me, like the reason why I got on PS4 or like wanted it on Switch and PS4 is I want my platinum because I deserve my platinum for the amount of time I put into this game. But the reason why I didn't get my platinum is because they turned off the online servers after a while. Like, after maybe
Right.
a good, I don't even know how long, but like they turned off the servers, and I was like, well,
yeah, especially
this
being
is a
from
platinum I
360,
can, it's a platinum I literally could never get. And then the news that it was getting remastered, like, made me super excited because I was like, I finally can get the platinum, and I don't have many platinums on PS4. So I was like, finally I can get the platinum for one of my favorite games of all time. Plus, I can get the game on Switch because it's $30 as opposed to $60, and Devin and I split
for
the cost of the
with essentially one game, you can get it twice.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. I just love that game so much. Like, and it's fun too because, like I said, it is a mindless game for me in a lot of ways. But there have been things I forgot would happen, and I'm still getting excited and surprised by them. So that's good too. I'm happy
it's like a good mini series.
Yes,
It's like
yeah.
a good Ghostbusters mini series to come back to and just
Mhm.
like, oh, I haven't watched this in 10 years. I wonder if this holds up.
Yeah.
Apparently it does.
But
Um,
no, I love it.
and it looks so good. Like they
Mhm.
clearly put effort into this remaster because it definitely did not look this like I never played it on 360. I know it was supposed to look very good on 360. There's no way it looked this good though.
I mean, even on the PS3, like for me, like, it looked amazing on PS3 because we didn't know what graphics could be.
Right. I mean, I would like to look. I'd watch a comparison video, but I still can't get over how close the four of them look, and it still kills me that like Alyssa Milano, whose character's name is Ilissa.
Yep.
That's the other thing I think that's messing with me is that her character's name is just one letter off from her real name, and also it doesn't look like her.
Yeah.
But the other four look like them, and because their voices didn't change in 30 years, they all sound exactly the same.
Well, it's all the same recording too.
No, I'm not just talking about from 10 years ago. I'm talking about even when they recorded it for that. The thing is that those are four people whose voices have not changed in 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
yeah, I don't know. But even on like PS3, I was like, "Oh my god, they look just like them." But it's funny cuz I was watching Devin I was playing on the Switch and Devin was playing on the PS4. And the Switch looks very it looks closer to PS3 graphics.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
And
That
then
does not surprise me one bit.
I kept looking over at Devin, and I was like, "Oh shit, yep, that looks amazing." So, but yeah, I don't know. Love that game. It's great.
Go everyone for October. Go play the Ghostbusters game.
Do it. It's the best.
We demand it.
We demand it. If you want to listen to the show, we can't stop you, but you should just do it. We can't stop you from listening to the show if you don't play Ghostbusters. We don't have that power, but you should play Ghostbusters. Take our word for it.
Just know that we will put you on a lower tier. You're not allowed on our higher tier of our fake Patreon unless you play Ghostbusters. That's part of the job. That's part of the payment. It's $8 plus Ghostbusters
God.
achievements
Yep.
that prove that you played the game.
Yep. Yep. God. But yeah, what else?
The DC CW shows are coming back.
I know.
We're getting into a crazy time with the DC CW shows.
I know.
We're barreling toward Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they're finally going to be like, just smash them all together. Still except Black Lightning. I love the fact that the guys that runs Black Lightning is like, I'm still not doing this, guys.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. I've got my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own show. It's incredible. It also, no, I'm not doing whatever bullshit you're doing.
That's okay.
It's fine.
I
It works totally
kind
fine.
of respect that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's the one that's got phenomenal acting, and for as much as Arrow has tried and failed over the years to do their like they did their gun episode and it was bad, and like Supergirl had better episodes of like Jimmy Olsen and John Jones talking about what it's like to be black in America today. Very good, but they're like very clear, obvious like issue episodes, like very special episode feeling. And Black Lightning is just like, but what if a creative team that knew what they were doing, just this was the show and we were good at it, and so we're gonna get really good actors and we're gonna do this. So it's like, yeah, you guys, you go do your comic book stuff, we're gonna do our stuff, you're fine.
We're gonna do our like real stuff.
So yeah, so Supergirl and Batwoman premiered. And without spoiling anything, because I know Dale has not sat down and watched them yet, Batwoman felt like I was watching Birds of Prey again.
Okay.
In the best way and some of the worst way. It was a very uneven pilot, but I'm excited for it.
Spend the year for those.
Not least of which, one of the Birds of Prey from the TV show is in the show as another character.
Oh yeah.
And I was sitting there watching. I was like, why does she look so familiar? Who is that? And then I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, it's Dinah Lance from Birds of Prey. It's just in this series.
Playing the same character?
No, not at all. She's playing a completely different character. But that also means, because they announced for Crisis that they might be bringing some of the Birds of Prey actors back, which makes me think that if she's already on the CW payroll again, she might be playing both characters for Crisis, which is wonderful. Because Crisis is just like all over the place. They keep announcing stuff. It's like Birds of Prey is going to come back. Smallville's coming back. We're going to get God, what's his name now? Brandon Routh, who played Superman before, who's Adam now. We're gonna make him come back as Superman again, and then he's gonna that Crisis is actually going to be the opening of the Legends season in January, which means that right after that he's leaving Legends. So like everything's all over the place.
You know what's funny about this whole Crisis of Infinite Earth thing?
That you still haven't watched like half the shows that will be involved?
Yep. And I'm probably only going to watch the Supergirl episode. And my dad and I are going to start the episode. And we're both going to look at each other.
It's going to be
like,
one of like
what?
6 episodes of TV, Dale.
I know. That's what happened with, what episode?
There was Crisis last year. There was, what did they call it, though? There was Crisis on Earth X. Elseworlds last year.
Because I remember texting you and being like, so we just watched the 3rd part of Elseworlds. I need to know. I kind of understood what was going on, but like, can you fill in some shit?
I mean, oh my god, that's so funny to me that like they make these crossover episodes so important specifically because they're trying to get people to watch all of the shows, and still it's like, I'll still watch this one, or I won't even skip it this week. I'm just gonna watch this episode and move on. It's like, what? How? Again, that was part 4 of 6. How did you do that?
And my dad and I was so into it too. I was like wicked into the episode. It was great.
Getting into that 3rd episode, though, also means you missed all the fun parts at the beginning where you've got, like, Arrow, where Oliver gets swapped into Barry's body. And so all of a sudden...
I mean, that was in the previously.
Steven, yeah, so all of a sudden Steve Amell is the Flash, and they've stuffed him into the suit that I think was the same size and the same exact suit for Grant Gustin.
Oh, my God.
And, like, you've got Grant Gustin running around trying to be all brooding and angry, but he's a tiny little boy compared to Steve Amell.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Like, I think I saw parts of that. Like,
and it's Amell. I know it's Amell. Before someone corrects me, it's Steve Amell. I keep saying Amell. I'll always say Amell. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I just remember when that episode started, I was like, Dad, we're not on this episode. And he goes, no, we are. It's the next episode in the list. And I'm like, Dad, nothing that is happening on this screen happened. Like, we don't know any of this. And he was like, well, it says part 3. Like, I'm like, oh, we're just going to watch it, Dad. We're not going to watch those other 2 episodes. He watches Flash.
We're not going to take 90 minutes to watch the other 2 episodes and be caught up. No, we're watching this one episode and we're moving on.
He kind of watches The Flash, so I think he might have seen that. Part 2, maybe? I don't even know, but it might have
been part 1. I don't even remember.
Was the funniest moments because it was like him and I, like, not arguing, but like having like a little mini discussion, like disagreement of like whether or not it was the right episode. And he was right. It's recorded. My father was right that it was the right episode. It was just we were not prepared at all for it.
I love it. And I love it too because ever since the first one, the very first crossover event was when Supergirl was still on CBS, I think. I think in the first season of Supergirl, they do a crossover event. Might be season 2 when she comes in to CW. I don't remember. But like, oh no, the first crossover is definitely she's still on CBS because it was the Legends pilot. The first crossover event is the Legends of Tomorrow pilot, basically, that introduces the Legends. And then you get the next episode where it's like, oh, by the way, aliens exist, and we sent Barry to Earth 2 to grab Supergirl and bring her back so that we know what it's like to fight an alien. So it's just dumb, and I love it.
Oh my God. Ridiculous.
Yes. The next year was Crisis on Earth X, which is Space Nazis. This is very good.
Yep. I've heard about that.
And then I believe it's Elseworlds and then Crisis on Earth. I don't think I missed one in between there. So like and every time it happens though, it is all of these shows have like they're over because it's a CW show and they're all under the same formula of we do some kind of like crime, like criminal of the week, monster of the week thing. But then also there's a huge overarching story we're always doing. And inevitably you get to the crossover event and it's like, here's my convenient one line to throw off my arc for the whole season so that I can justify the next 3 episodes of this crossover. And then I'm going right back to it. And I'll make some comment about it as I go back to my own world through my portal and be like, well, I have entire other Kryptonians coming back that I have to go stop now. Bye. Like disappearing into a portal. It's like, oh yeah, that was like a whole thing that like we just kind of gave up on when you left. Okay, bye. I guess the last 3 months didn't matter. Bye.
Oh my God. Yeah. No.
So okay. So
we'll see if we actually watch Crisis of Infinite Earth.
Can I set you up a little bit on Crisis on Infinite Earth then, just so we can talk about the fact that Arrow comes back next week and it still makes no goddamn sense to me? Can I please tell you?
Over?
Well, it's not just that. No, it's going into its last season is this year. But. And I guess spoilers for Arrow specifically. I won't go into all of the shows because that would be silly and I could do that, but I'm not gonna because I love them all in their own ways. But everyone thinks Arrow is dead. Here's the problem. So the entire last season of Arrow that just aired. So Elseworlds happens last year. Let's start here. Elseworlds happens last year. And the whole idea is that Guy who's basically the Watcher from Marvel. I
Yep.
don't remember what his name is in this, but
Isn't
like
it
he
like
basically
Cypher or Cyphus
Cy-
or
Cypher's the bad guy from Matrix. Uh,
Yeah,
I
but I
forget.
thought,
No, it's something else that starts with an M. That's why I keep wanting to, but I can't
is
remember
it M?
what.
I thought it was a C.
But he comes in basically, and the whole Elseworlds thing was a test. He's got this
Yeah.
book that
Yep.
scrambles up
I
everybody, and
knew
he's like, "I'm
that.
testing you
Yeah.
because the crisis is happening," which is a thing that the Flash has actually been teasing for like 4 seasons now. Since
Yeah.
like season 2, they have been teasing this whole idea about um, in the comics. For anybody that doesn't know, the Flash does the whole thing with Flashpoint, which is he creates like an alternate universe thing, and then that kicks off the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is that he
Mhm.
basically tears apart the universe by
Yeah.
accident, and
Yeah.
then all of the multiverses in DC have to like get smashed together. And it was basically in the comics a way for DC to be like, we've got too much shit, let's just mash it all together, kill off some people, and then start fresh.
Yeah.
So CW kind of doing this with the fact that like Supergirl started on a different Earth, and because it was on a different channel, and so she's been on Earth 2 this whole time. They're gonna smash her in there. Batwoman technically takes place on a third Earth from the other two, I think. Actually, no, it might take place in the same as Arrow. I don't remember. I'm already confused because she was introduced in Elseworlds. So this is why it's all confusing, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna mash them
Oh,
all
right.
together."
Yeah. I remember her. Oh, I didn't see her
Because
introduction, but I've seen the clip of it, of her
it's
jumping
so
down
funny.
onto the car.
Dale, it's so funny, by the way, leading through up to Elseworlds when they're going to introduce Batwoman, and now that Batwoman's like in the canon, the immediacy with which they all decide that they can start mentioning Gotham in every episode of every show.
Oh
It's
God.
like it's so funny because like for Elseworlds, it's like they're like, oh, nobody goes to Gotham anymore. That place is terrible. You think Star City is bad? Gotham's even worse.
Yeah.
Nobody goes there and all this other stuff. And then immediately, like Elseworlds ends, and it's like, oh yeah, so this is something we used in Gotham back in the day to do this and such and such. Oh, back in Arkham Asylum, he did this. And it's like we can mention Batman things now.
Oh my
When did that
God.
happen?
Oh my
It's because
God.
Batwoman starts next year, so we can mention Batman things again.
Ridiculous.
um,
Yeah. So I knew
so
that
so
it was
that
all
whole
a test, and I knew
right.
that
So
people.
test is coming because
Yeah.
Barry's about to blow up the universe.
Yep.
They don't know why. They don't know why. It's like the big mystery for Flash this year is can they prevent him disappearing? And then but then through all of Elseworlds, what happens is that one of the big things that resolves Elseworlds is Arrow basically is like, look, whatever this thing is that's coming, take me basically as like a
Yeah.
sacrifice
Yep.
and everybody else that to try and save everybody else.
Mhm.
So the end of season 7 of Arrow is him coming for Arrow. As he
Yeah.
comes to him and says it's time, and so he goes and they have this whole thing where they're like flashing forward all season to like 2050 something, and it's like, oh yeah, Arrow died, quote unquote, or disappeared, and so every like the world went to hell and all this, like Star City went to hell and all this stuff. So it's like that's the end of the season is his disappearance. So how do you come back next season if you can't be there?
Well, if it's all flash forwards.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. Like that, the end of the season was the start of those flash forward events. So like the final like scene of the season finale is the guy comes for Oliver and says it's time, and he goes and leaves everybody, and like that's it. That's where the Arrow universe is right now in the current timeline. Is that he has gone off with the Watcher or whatever he is. It is like that's it. So like does
Hmm.
that mean when Arrow comes back next week, he's just not on it until Crisis? Because pretty certain Crisis is at the end of their 10-episode season.
Interesting.
Season 8 of Arrow, just have no Arrow? Because that'd be funny. I'm down with that dumb idea. But like, but
Well,
like,
you just
what?
have to watch and find out.
Like, 'cause at
We're
first
not
I was like,
sponsored.
I kind of like I started this whole scramble to figure out when Crisis was because I was like, oh, are they just going to start all of their seasons with the Crisis event and then go from there? Because that would be interesting. No, it doesn't come out until like December, going into January. So it's like, so like Legends doesn't start until January. We don't know what happens with Legends until the dawn of Crisis. I don't know how Arrow is structured. I assume Flash is just going to be like the first half of the season will be like make sense to lead up to it, and then Supergirl and Batwoman kind of on their own. They don't have to do anything until that shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh my God, Greg Berlanti, what are you doing? I love it, but what the hell are you doing? And I cannot believe how excited I am to find out. Like, I'm also sitting here like, I cannot wait. I watched Supergirl and Batwoman. Black Lightning started last night, but that's not part of any of this. So Flash starts. Sorry, Black Lightning was last night. Flash starts tonight. They're replaying the Batwoman pilot because they still are because they like want to start everyone else before Arrow starts. That's what
Yeah.
I've decided. That's why that's starting a week late. Oh man.
Interesting. So
And
weird.
also in all of this, I have to get caught up on Supernatural because Supernatural's last season starts this week, so I'm going to be like an episode or two behind by the time I get caught up with that.
Oh, it
Oh,
does start this week? Damn.
yeah.
Crazy.
Season 15.
It's
15 years.
That's
That's
crazy.
half my life, Dale. That's more than half of your life.
Yeah. Jeez. God. Ridiculous.
It all started with the worst season of Smallville. Jensen Ackles just like going bad for one episode at the end so he can die.
Oh my god. Ridiculous. So
So yeah.
I
So
I was gonna talk about ridiculous pilots that I watched, but we saw a show over the weekend.
we did. Are we like running low? Is that your way of saying we're running too long on time already?
No,
Yes.
I just didn't know if we wanted to talk about the show or if we wanted to talk about something else before we talk about the show.
I got nothing else before the show. Everyone like as uneven as Batwoman was, I'm excited for that. Supergirl started great. I'm excited for Flash tonight. That's all I got.
I can quickly go through. So I watched The Unicorn, All Rise, and Stumptown.
So the Unicorn I also watched. I think we talked about this
We
before
talked about briefly, yeah.
in the real world,
Yes,
outside of recording.
IRL.
I want to watch
Um,
the second episode, give it a couple of episodes to get even, but I'll give Walton Goggins the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say on that.
The thing about The Unicorn is the second episode is definitely better than the first, but
Cool.
I still don't know how I feel about that show.
All right.
Because, as you saw the pilot, it is very heavy on the whole, like, you need to be in a relationship for your life to continue. And I'm not about that. Like I don't like that.
They're leaning
that
so
idea.
heavily. Yeah, they're leaning so heavily on it that I almost think that the end of this first season is him going, I actually don't need that. I just need to live my life.
I certainly hope so but like, I don't want to have to live through all of the awkwardness and all of the, like, it's just not gonna work out scenarios. You know, I don't know. But I can't. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. Well, we can talk about the second episode. We can talk about that after. Stumptown was really freaking good. I loved it. Loved
Kobe
every second
Smulders.
of it.
Kobe,
I
you deserve
was-
so much more from the MCU
Oh
than
my
just
God.
being Nick Fury's sidekick.
This is true. This is true. I'm happy that she's got her own show. I'm happy. She is such a good badass. Like, she's good as Robin in How I Met Your Mother. But, like, she is a great freaking badass. Just character. I love it. I love her, and I love Stumptown, and I can't wait for more. And you haven't watched it.
She's
right?
also a good ghost. Secret ghost in a Nicholas Sparks movie. But Safe Haven? I think it's Safe Haven, where
What?
Julian Ho goes to like some small town to get away from her abusive ex-husband or something, and she runs into Josh Duhamel, and she's like got a neighbor that keeps coming over while she like works on her new house or something, and is like, oh yeah, like go out and live your life, girl, great. And then Josh Duhamel, the whole movie is like, oh, my dead wife, I'm so sad. And then of course at the end you find out that Colby Smulders is his dead wife, and she's just been a ghost the whole time. And it's like, why? That doesn't make any sense. There's nothing else supernatural in this movie. She just hangs out in your house and is like, I want to get my husband into a new relationship. Anyway, that's Safe Haven.
Well, thanks for
Moving
ruining
on.
that movie.
You were
for
never
me.
gonna watch it. No one should watch it.
You
It's
don't
bad.
know. I love Josh Duhamel. Duhamel. Josh Duhamel. I love Josh Duhamel.
I love that guy.
I love him, and I love Colby Smulders. Yeah, and All Rise was really good too. I'm very excited. I'm very interested to see where that goes.
I am too. Also, I just can't. I still think that's the worst name. They kept coming with. All Rise is like, it sounds like a show that someone made up for another show. Like, oh, like a show about actors, and the show they work on is called All Rise, because who would name a show that? It's silly.
Damn. That's
Anyway,
funny. No, that's good. I really liked it. It was really good. I mean, I get where you're coming from, and you're going to ruin the title for me. 'Cause now that's all I'm going to think of.
I mean, here's the thing. I would have said the same thing about a show called The Unicorn. So you know
That's
what?
true.
It might just be we're in a weird space where people are running out of
We're,
titles for
we're in
things.
a weird space, and we're in this space also where, like, everything is unbalanced. There
Yes,
are so many shows right now that are wholly
you are
unbalanced.
parroting Devin from Say
I
Report
I
this week. Just so
am,
you know. Okay.
but
I wasn't
he's
sure if you had
not.
listened to the episode or if you guys just felt the same way so
We just
much like you're the
feel the
same person.
same way because we are the same person
Well,
in a lot of ways.
this goes actually, I think, to something that I posited on our Discord that became a much bigger discussion than I expected. So I'm going to bring it here. We don't. I don't
Did
think
I
people
pay
know who
attention
to
to
make.
this?
I don't think people know who to make TV shows for anymore.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Is that like, I think that the people who make broadcast television specifically, like Fox, ABC, CBS, who were like the standard for so long, just like you put out, especially Fox, which is you shotgun out 1,000 different things every season, and then by December you've canceled half of them,
Yeah.
and then mid-season you've brought in some new ones, and hopefully like 2 of those stick that become like longer running shows for 3 or 4 years. Like that style, weirdly, that's the same style I think that Netflix uses, but Netflix has no problem just like cutting it after 2 seasons and moving on.
Yeah.
But because the broadcast networks are still dependent on like the revenue stream of things like advertisers
And numbers and all that.
and numbers and
Yeah.
all that, they don't know who to make TV for anymore.
Well-
They don't know who's watching their shows anymore.
Well, that's actually my boss and I were talking about this, and it's like it's like the broadcast television networks are trying to do certain things that like Netflix can just do, where it's like, okay, so we're trying to do something, but we also need to stay within the FCC like policies, and
as well as there are formulas that we're afraid to get away from.
Exactly,
like it's a mix of yes.
It's like we want to do what Netflix and like Hulu and Prime are doing, but we have to do like, this is gonna sound ruder than I mean it, but we have to do basically a discount version of it.
No, yeah, I don't
like-
think that's rude. I think that's
It's
technically
exactly
true.
It's exactly what it is. Like we have to do a discount version of it. We also need to throw everything. I'm stealing this from Devin because it's the best way to do it. It's the best analogy for it. But like we have to throw everything at the wall, and like no one except for a handful of people are going to remember that we mentioned this thing in the pilot and never revisited it. Like, they're just, throwing it at the wall and being like, okay, whoever stays, and we're gonna change the narrative and pander it that way because we're getting those numbers. But, they're not gonna remember that we mentioned these 5 other storylines.
Yeah. I still remember the first time that I clocked that was happening. There's 2. There's 2 that stick out in my mind.
Yeah.
The first one is Scrubs. Scrubs pilot episode takes place at a completely different building than the rest of the series.
Yeah.
The second, and that's just like a whole thing. They actually do the same thing. They do the same thing that Twin Peaks does, which is anybody who watches the Twin Peaks pilot and then watches the very first, what they call episode 1, the sheriff station changes, but in the first episode of Twin Peaks, there are people all over the sheriff station doing construction as a way to explain why everything looks different.
Yeah.
They don't say it. No one looks at it and goes, oh, this is why things look different. It's just a thing in the background happening throughout the entire episode as people are just like constantly doing construction work in the thing.
Well, that's smart.
And Scrubs does the same thing. There's the first episode, and then in the second, there are people like working on stuff.
Yeah.
That's just like it's just happening somewhere where someone is like working. It's only in one room though. Like they don't do it the whole episode, but there is just like one room where someone's like on a ladder doing something in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they're just like, that's your clue that they did some work on the hospital or something.
Yeah.
But the other one, the one that really is egregious to me though, is Psych. The very first episode of Psych, Juliet is not there.
No.
It's a different character
Yep.
actress that I've seen in 1,000 things, but they have a whole they plant a whole plot line
With her. Yep.
that Timothy Olmstead and her are sleeping together, and then in
Mhm.
the second episode when she's not there anymore, the first thing he says is, "Well, ever since he got rid of his old partner after he had them ship off his old partner because they broke up,"
Yep. Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh." Oh, that's just a thing we're doing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's just how you explain that. At least you mentioned it.
Mhm.
Let's okay.
Yeah, I remember that too. And it's jarring, and it's like, okay, but at least you gave me an explanation, but like at the same time,
It's also an explanation that makes him look like a
damn.
jackass.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, ugh. But no, it's this weird, again, we're in a weird spot with television, and the broadcasting networks have to compete with Netflix now, and I don't think they ever thought they would have. Like when Netflix started, when I first heard about Netflix in college, and it was, hey, you can order DVDs and they come to your house, but we also have some movies that you can just watch right now.
Right when the streaming service
Never.
really kicked
Yeah.
off. Like that was yeah.
Never. That was my freshman year of college, because like people in class were like, "Oh, you can watch this on here," and "Oh, you can watch it here," and like Hulu started off as this weird
Hulu was their
Hulu
answer to the
was
network answer to Netflix, and the
exactly.
way that they marketed it was they had Seth MacFarlane walking
Yep.
around making dumb jokes in their ads,
Yeah.
and
And
Alec Baldwin, I think, because 30 Rock was big at the time.
like I just remember the layouts for those. I don't know. I pay attention to layouts. Maybe it's a computer thing, but I remember the layouts for those sites, and and Hulu was exactly, if you were to go, sorry, I said sorry to you, but I hit the microphone. Um
Ow.
if you it's like hitting you. Um
I get it.
Jeez. But if you were to go to Hulu back when it first started, if you go to Fox, or I don't know, ABC or any of the broadcast network television sites, it is very clearly, we're going to have this black bar that has, it's always moving and it's got pictures and all that. Then we have a bunch of white space that's just filled with something, right? That's how Hulu was. And so it looked like this network television site, whereas Netflix was all just movie posters.
Here's a giant block of movie posters, and if you see something you like, you can click on it and
Yeah,
watch it.
exactly. And now they have become so iconic. Like how you get to things is weird, and I'm getting into a whole nother territory that I did not expect to get into today.
Well, I mean,
with web design
well, it's interesting because
and
like
how
to
that
go
draws people in.
and to go
Like,
even further than that, which is more, I mean, even a further tangent. My Roku finally came in.
eh.
Now that it's not an empty package on my, I ordered a Roku for $40, everybody, because they're still super cheap, and then you're not tied to Amazon if
Mhm.
that's a thing that bothers you. But I got a Roku, and the first package that showed up was empty because it was improperly sealed, and I think it fell out in the truck, aka someone went home with a free Roku.
Mhm.
But Amazon was nice enough to whatever. I'm not mad because I got it 2 days later and it was $40. So I got a replacement that came today, and like I sat there today and just like loaded up all the 6 things I'm subscribed to. And like I noticed that because I'm going through 6 different
Mhm.
websites now.
Yeah.
And also I noticed that on the Amazon Fire Stick and on the Roku, like they're what I would call their secondary apps are so much worse than their
Yeah.
websites. They want you so bad to go right to their website
Yeah.
because I'm sure they've got Google Ads turned on and they're probably getting something from people going through their actual website. But like you go on their secondary app. So like YouTube's thing on the Switch and Roku or like and Amazon is all really terrible because you have to like sign in. And I think it's so weird because you have a Google account and then you have a separate, even though it's under Google, a Yahoo
Mhm.
account stuck within your Google account. So if you click on your Google account and not your YouTube account, it suddenly thinks you're a different user and it doesn't show you anything you're subscribed to.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned recently. And then like the Netflix app is terrible on all of these because like sometimes it shows you what you've recently been watching or what your watch list is, which God, I don't think I've ever looked at my watch list in years
Oh,
on
really?
Netflix, but
That's
I
how
still
I
have stuff
do
on
it.
there. I still have a habit. I have a bad habit. I do the same thing on the Nintendo eShop with games I want to buy, where I go through and I go, oh yeah, I'll stick this on like a wish list or a watch list. I'll go through it that way, and then I never go back to that actual wish list and check on
Oh,
things.
I do all the time. It is
So
so
like,
useful for me.
there's stuff there's stuff sitting on that watch list. The other thing though is that because I'm constantly creating that watch list, Netflix is using that to tailor
Yeah,
the algorithm to me.
yeah,
And the problem is that like it's all stuff that I clearly forgot I wanted to watch. So like the stuff it's showing me is other stuff I just am gonna forget I want to watch. I sat down once with a friend and we went through her Netflix and I went, holy shit, I didn't even know this was on Netflix because I never see it it's
yeah,
never shown to me.
yeah.
If Netflix just had like God, just somewhere. I know it's a very big list, guys, but just all movies, A to Z, top to bottom, load that list up, and I will sort through it the way I want to sort through it. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's too much, but also
Yeah.
I just want to. I just want to be able. You can even find like genres. It's so hard to find everything on Netflix now
Yeah,
because
you
they
just
have
have
an
to search.
algorithm
You
that
just
wants
have
to
to
show.
you have to search for it.
But I don't want to. I don't know what I want yet. How can I search for the thing I don't know?
I don't know. I don't
Existential
know.
crises with Netflix.
But it is. It's this weird thing where, even that comes into play. It's even that, that web
Nothing
design
messed me up
comes into
more.
play, man.
Nothing messed me up more than the day I learned that the little square on Netflix might be different for me and you for the same movie. Did you know this?
Oh, yeah, it cuz it changes the picture based on.
But it thinks will get your
Yep.
attention.
Yep.
So if I have a bunch of movies in my watch list starring women, then it will show me whatever woman's in a show, no matter
Exactly.
how small their role.
Yep.
Or like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
that's how you end up with a list that says movies starring women, but all of the pictures are of men
Yeah.
because they're like, oh,
Huh.
well, this is what gets your attention. You don't care about the woman in this, even though it's movies starring women. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
hilarious. That's great.
that's how people get those weird things that you see on like on Reddit and Twitter all the time. Where they're
Oh
like, why
my
is it showing me this picture? It's
Oh
like
my
because it
god.
thinks it thinks that's what you want.
Yeah,
I don't know what to
exactly.
tell you.
Yeah. Thinks that's what's gonna get you to watch it.
Ugh.
Man. Crazy. It's a crazy
But this
world.
paradise we live in.
This
This
paradise.
is paradise.
So
Look around, everybody.
so Zach and I went and saw a concert on Sunday night.
Oh, it's glorious.
It
Oh
was
man, I missed concerts. I missed it so I'm so happy to have been to two in the last month now. I
good.
missed this. I forgot how much I missed this.
It
Oh man.
it was so good. I forget how much I love concerts like that. Like specifically in a small venue. Like
Small venue, speakers too big for the place. I don't
Mhm.
think I heard a goddamn thing that happened all night, and I couldn't be happier. Like,
Exactly. My ears were a little fuzzy afterwards, walking down the street, and I was like, "Can't hear Zach, but that's fine. We're just walking. We both know where we need to go."
see, the nice thing is you can kind of almost make it out
Yeah.
because my voice is so bassy that I kind of come in a low rumble
Yeah.
afterwards.
Exactly. No, it was great. We saw the Regrets, and which is a band that I've talked about on this show.
And they're excellent.
On our music hot topic episode. So go check that out.
Fantastic. I'm going to continue to forget that they are like 19.
19, which blew my mind when I found out. And so the biggest thing about the show for me though was that the openers were just as good.
Cannot
Just as,
stress how important a good opening act is, everybody.
yes.
I cannot stress how much they set the vibe for your night because oh my god, I'm wearing my Holla t-shirt right now.
I hate you. I wish I was wearing mine because
We're gonna do the very first. It's gonna be another 100 episodes. What are we on 73? Something like that.
yeah.
It's gonna be another 73 episodes where we finally do an episode like together in the same room.
Yep.
We'll have our podcast mugs and our Holla t-shirts.
And our Holla t-shirts because after, so the two opening acts, the first band was this. It was like a band, but it's only named after the singer. Have you gone into have you read up?
I haven't gone through I have not gone through everything, but what you just described makes me think of like Bright Eyes, where
Okay.
Connor Oberst is like the main creative force behind that, and then like when he wants to do certain types of song, like there's like 3 or 4 Bright Eyes albums that are very different kind of genres, and he's got different bands backing him because of that. He just stuck them all under that label
Wait.
because it's him. So like Bright Eyes is not a full band. Bright Eyes is Connor Oberst, and sometimes the band is the same backing him up.
Okay. Well, like, yeah. So what I found
Holla sounds like the same thing.
Yeah, because when you go to the Spotify, it just talks about the main lead singer. It just talks about Ian.
Preppy Mickey Uppy boy.
Preppy.
It's adorable as anything.
Yes. That like I totally took a creeper video of.
You did. Oh my god, you did.
And was like, yeah, you can choose what pin I get. It's fine.
Specifically went over to the table to buy things from him.
Yeah. Specifically was like, hey Greer, you're good, but we're gonna take a break and walk over to the Holla merch table.
Greer were exactly what a mid-act should be. Opening act, great. Mid-act, need to come down a little bit. Let me go buy some stuff, get another drink, get ready for the main event. And then the regrets were awesome.
Yeah, they were so good. But yeah, Holla, like, if you go to the Spotify, it just talks about, that Ian. And then, but I was reading up about.
If you go through him through Amazon Music, it puts him and like Indian woman whose name is Holla under the same thing, because Amazon's really bad with how they put stuff up. Because if you end up essentially, if you have 2 musical acts with the same exact name, it thinks you're the same people and it mixes all your stuff together.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So like it's got a couple of albums from Holla that we saw, and then it's got a bunch of stuff about like Indian spirituality. Oh. It's like, whoa, hold on.
Interesting.
I don't think this is him.
Yeah. But what I found out, because I was like trying to figure out about the other, band members that were on stage, and like the drummer is actually a singer for another band. He just also drums for Holla. Like,
this sounds like when I went to go see Kimya Dawson.
Yeah.
The opening act was the woman who used to be the drummer for the Decemberists and is the drummer for the Low Anthems now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get what was it? There was a band. It was a couple of the people from Blink-182, and I can't remember the other band they came up with. Boxcar Racer. They put out one album, but it was Mark and Tom from Blink-182, and then 2 people from, I want to say like it was something like Reliant K or something, another one of the pop punk bands that were big with them or something, and they just like 2 or 3 of them got together and they just put out one album under the name Boxcar Racer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Like it's this cool thing. I don't know. But yeah, it was great. And then the Regrets played, and I jumped around and was dancing, and
Dale also got to see Dancing
Zach, which was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's what happens when when
you don't care.
Yeah, when
it
my
was
anxiety
incredible.
is like at its lowest level.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was great.
Oh.
There was. I liked the moments when like when there were moments where like there were empty spots in the audience, and you and I just looked at each other and we're just like.
We're like, this crowd is getting a little.
There?
We keep getting pushed around. You want to go there? Let's go there. Boom.
Yeah.
Go.
It was great. Oh my god, it made me made me want to go to more concerts. Like like I want to go to more concerts like that.
Keep an eye out on what's going on. This is the problem. This is the biggest loss we have of 95.5 WBRU disappearing from Providence, is that they were the ones that ran those ads, and on their website you could always find stuff that was going on around Providence and around Boston. And ever since they left, it's harder to find when the acts are coming to the town.
Yeah.
I guess the Phoenix probably still exists, but I'd have to find one first. But so we're standing out in line though. Can we talk about this? First off, we show up in line. We show up a little early. We're trying to make sure we know where the place is. We got lost getting there, but we're not going to get into that. We're bad. I
avoided the toll.
You did. You did. You avoided the toll, but also
But also we got lost.
it took us like 45 minutes to park.
Yeah.
To eventually sit down and go, oh shit, it's Sunday, it's free parking, and we could have parked like 5 fucking
Five
hours ago.
minutes from the fucking place.
Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because we ended up near that CVS where we bought candy.
Yeah, that's true.
So, so we go and we're like, we see the line, and I think the first thing we both go is
God.
one, I don't see a single dude here. Fine, whatever. And two, every single one of these people is like under 24.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then you noticed something else very important that we got very confused by.
Oh, the hearts?
Yes.
Yeah.
There were hearts just under people's eyes.
A bunch of people had hearts like drawn in eyeliner. I think. I'm assuming that some of them could have been tattoos, like legitimately
or
could
even
have
like
been
Sharpie
tattoos
or something.
or Sharpie. But it was like, yeah, so they had little hearts drawn under their eyes, and I'm like, are we missing something? Did we like not get a memo? Should we have had hearts on our eyes? Are these people just fans of Star versus the Forces of Evil? Like, but they're in different positions than that? I was very confused. And then
we're getting in, and we finally
2
then we go
hours
across
pass.
I was gonna say, then we go get drunk, and then we go watch football and get drunk at a bar across the street because it was Boston and why not?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go get in line, which is now down the street and around the corner because this show's sold out.
Yep.
And so we go and get in line, and this girl in front of us with this bright green hair that could not have been definitely younger than you. What I love is
I don't know, though, Zach.
No, she was 23 at the most.
Okay,
at the most.
fair enough.
I would doubt if she was even 21. I would like.
I don't know, but she was like talking about high school. I thought.
No, she was talking about going to visit people at college. She was talking about people who had gone to college that she was going to visit.
Oh.
So like maybe 19 or 20.
I missed that. I thought she was talking about high school. Thought she and her friend were talking about high school. Which also, can we talk about how her friend introduced herself to us, thinking we were with?
None of us introduced anybody. Like what I love is that neither you or I introduced ourselves back, and her friend did not introduce herself either.
Yeah, I felt bad. I was like, maybe I should have introduced myself. I don't know.
But we're standing there, and I, because again, a little buzzed. I was thinking some comment about the fact that I was the only man there, and also the only 30-year-old in line.
Yeah.
Girl turns around and goes, I know, it's nothing but e-girls up there.
Yep.
And the two of us no, not out loud, because we didn't want her to know we were going to ask this question.
Just got
looked
silent.
At each other, and our brains both went, what the hell does that mean? What?
Exactly. And it was like, it's that type of silence where like, you just let it die. You just need to let the comment die.
We both kind of looked in the air, cocked our heads to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
Just let that fade away. How long until we can just start talking about something else?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to respond or what that is.
Yeah. It's just like you give that awkward laugh, and it's like I don't even know what I'm laughing at. Ridiculous.
Great night. Loved it. Loved every second of it.
It was amazing. Oh, it was so good. But it was like, yeah, it amps you up. Those kind of concerts amp you up. Like, I saw Bowling for Soup at the same venue, and like after that concert, I'm like, man, I want to go see more concerts. Like, this is great. I loved it. Felt great. For Bowling for Soup, Devin and I were right up against the stage too, and like you just get that energy, because in smaller venues. Not to say that bands don't always have fun on stage, because I think they do. But like in venues,
between
in smaller ones, it's like you're there. You're right there with them.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did someone like walk up into a crowd to do a guitar solo, and everyone just lost their minds?
Yeah.
Versus like a huge stage where you're all sitting out on like a huge auditorium and you're watching it, and yeah, it's fun, but like you're not.
It's not personal.
There.
It's not. Yeah. It's not intimate or personal. Yeah, it was awesome, and like
we also
shirt.
are the only ones, like, we don't know what Greer is, and somehow everyone else did, and everyone was in love
Everybody.
with these boys in Greer, and we don't know who they are.
No.
Like,
Like,
someone brought them a skeleton and asked him to kiss it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't do that unless you have, like, a deep love of a band.
Yeah.
And I've never heard the word before outside of the context of Pam Grier is a great actress.
Yeah, no, like, even when we bought the tickets, it mentioned these two other bands, these two other groups, Holla and Greer, and then we were like, I don't know, they're going to be opening next. That's fine, cool, whatever. But, like, we get there, and people have Greer shirts. People were all about Holla. Like, knew the songs from Holla, knew the songs from Greer, and you and I are just, like, literally in the back, like, what? Where are we? Is anybody here for the regrets? Is anybody here for the regrets?
Turns out they all were.
Turns out they all were.
Good, but...
Which, like, can we also talk about, like, the like 40 to 50-year-olds?
Then we became not the oldest people in the room, and we got very confused. There were some very clear parents. This was like an all-ages show.
Parents.
This was an all-ages show. Oh, also, that girl with the lime green hair in front of us, definitely, because we were in Boston, rolled a blunt in front of us and smoked it while we were outside.
Yep. Which you didn't realize until, like, it was already rolled and being smoked.
Something else, like, not great happening out in the street.
Yeah,
so,
that sucks.
So, yeah, but so, like, then we're like, you were seeing this at the same time, and so, like, we both were like, hey, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? What about that? What about this? Like, weirdest Abbott and Costello routine ever.
There was so much going on around us. There was that family behind us, that the parents brought them mints. Did you catch that?
Yes, I caught something about mints behind us.
Like, their parents brought them mints as, like, treats, and I'm like, that's cool. Where did you get those fucking mints from? Like, that's where I was. And then the girl in front of us, she started rolling right as, like, a little bit after her friend showed up. So it took her
I didn't catch any of that.
I
eventually caught it when she was, like, crouching down to finally actually roll it up. And so I was like, wait. I was like, how did this happen? She did that so fast. This is what happens. See, this is the thing. When you're good at it and you do it frequently enough, you get good at that. I would have fumbled that shit like crazy.
It happened. She started right when Paradise Boy got there, I think.
Oh, God.
Right around
Have we
then.
explained that yet, by the way?
No! That's literally the opening of our episode, and we kind of explained it.
We're standing in line, and this car pulls up. So the whole area around, the reason it took us so long to find a place to park is because this whole area is in a very weird space where it's like one of those places where it's the busiest street in the world, and also there's, like, no parking. People are probably parked there all day. There's parking meters, and we didn't realize on Sunday it was free, so we're, like, running around trying to find places to park that aren't a meter that's going to lock us in for 2 hours.
Yep.
But we go around this neighborhood in the back, and it's all, like, 1.5 lane wide, tiny-ass colonial Boston streets.
It's a nightmare to drive.
And everything says permit parking only. And it's like, oh, this is all, like, either really expensive, like, apartments or, like, probably owned by one of the colleges or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, everybody around here has money. Like, very clearly, if you have a permit to park in this area, you have got some cash somehow. But we're standing in line, and this car pulls up and pulls right into one of these side spots. These 3 guys get out. Every single one of them looks like they were dressed for 1993. Every single one of them looks like they were dressed for 1993. Like, plaid shirts, jeans, like, short sleeve collared shirts.
Yep. Rolled jeans.
Rolled jeans. And the driver gets out and looks at his 2 friends, spreads his arms wide, and goes, "Look at it, boys. This is paradise." You can't beat it. Oh, yeah, I get to live right here. I get to walk right down here and get a drink. Oh, this is such a beautiful area.
And because of how close we were, both Zach and I had to stifle our laughter.
We were both like, oh, God. Oh God, we had to
Like
wait for him to go around the corner before we could start laughing. And the second we do, those two girls start laughing with
with
us.
us, and then the I don't know, no one's gonna know her. I could say her name because I know her name, but like the green haired girl's friend was like, "Oh, did you guys not hear the memo? Like, this is paradise." And
I know we missed that somewhere because we couldn't find parking.
yeah, like, and then so we were all laughing about that, and then again, conversation ended. Like, there was a part of me where I was like, so these two girls are like who we're gonna be hanging out with tonight, and then nope, like
They were
nope.
cooler than us. We couldn't hang.
It was so funny. And okay, I'm still very happy that the Regrets sold out because this is like, I was not sure of their popularity. Like, I didn't, you don't really hear.
Turns out we don't hear about it because their popularity is about half our age.
Yeah.
So
Yes, this is true. So I was very happy to see that they sold out. And every time the crowd was like freaking out, and like I understand that it's a show and all that, but like they seemed very genuinely like speechless at moments where like they were trying to talk and couldn't because
they couldn't talk over the crowd
because the
screaming at
crowd
them.
was going crazy. And the lead singer was just like, oh my God, like, thank you. Like, it just was so genuine that, it amps you up. It amps you up.
Providence and Boston crowds are very good like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna steal a story from Sejan because I don't have my own. But oh my God, that's a new one. Sorry, my phone just started vibrating, and sometimes it says scam likely, which tells me not to pick it up. I just got my first ever one that says nuisance likely, and that's fancy.
Huh.
Anyway, Sejan was at I think it was a Streetlight Manifesto show years and years ago when they were still coming up as like one of the biggest ska bands.
Yeah.
Streetlight Manifesto, who does our theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, who I definitely own that song, but they definitely don't know they're our theme song. Anyway. They had come to Providence for a show, and they were doing one of their bigger songs, and all of a sudden the crowd started singing along with them to the point where he stopped singing and just let the crowd do it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he was like, "I didn't think anybody knew any of our songs that well."
Wow.
It's like, well, it's a very close-knit community here. We all listen, like everybody's connected in some way. Like Streetlight Manifesto is like a huge influence on Lemon Lime Tennis Shoes, who became one of the biggest like local ska bands in Providence and stuff like that. So it's like that's what I love about those places, about places that are small venues that you can sell out, have like a cheesy bar that gives you Fireball in a plastic cup.
Yep. Which is the best.
Oh man, $14 a shot of Fireball and then some flannel something or other for the beer.
Flannel Friday. I looked it up.
Oh,
I looked
so
it up.
good.
It's Harpoon. I didn't know it was Harpoon, but Flannel Friday is great.
Man. So like
Loved
I love venues like that. The Living Room was like that. Lupo's was like that, and they're both gone now.
Yeah.
And so like hold on to those places, people. Those have the best moments and the best feeling because you're just like squeezed in with a crowd for like a band everybody is there to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And everybody's there to have a good time. And just
nothing happened.
Life.
There's no fights.
Yeah.
People who got high because it's Boston and you can kind of smoke. I guess you're technically not supposed to smoke on the street. Lime-haired girl, but but I mean, like even then, it was an all-ages show. Who knows how many people there could actually drink? But like, there was no drunken fights.
Nope.
Nobody was getting high and doing something stupid. Everybody was having a good time. Yeah. That's good.
It was all social drinking and social, high. yeah, it was good. It's one of those nights where you get totally drunk and high off of life as well.
And then go buy Lunchables at Stop and Shop.
And then need to go to the bathroom. Need to stop at
hunting for a bathroom
in Boston because your bladder decided that when you got to the car is when you needed to go to the bathroom.
Hey, at least it waited.
That's true. That's true. and then you buy Pringles and Lunchables. And make the Stop and Shop employee have to come to your lane because you went to self-checkout, have to come to your lane like 5 times.
I blame the self-checkout thing for that.
That was awful. I felt so bad.
This was,
bad.
by the way, just when you put it all together, this was an episode of the Dayle sitcom.
Yeah, you were a guest star.
I just happened to be featured this episode.
You were a guest star.
We got lost getting there. We got there. It was great. And then just like during the final credits, it's just a scene of us standing in a self-checkout, fucking it up every time.
Yep. It was and I only bought 3, 4 things.
Every single one of those things got confused by the belt. You bought 3 cylindrical things that kept getting caught in between the 2 belts and just rolling in one place.
Yeah, the only thing
so the belt thought you were stealing shit.
The only thing that went through steering clear was the Snickers I bought. That was it.
Oh
God. Yeah, so welcome to the Dayle sitcom. Zach, I hope you enjoyed your time.
I did. Sit, Ubu, sit. Episode over.
What?
This has been... Do you not know Ubu? It's a production company through the late 90s and early 2000s. I think Daily Show used to be under them. So at the end of every Daily Show, there'd be a title card with a picture of a dog. And then they would say, sit, Ubu, sit. There's actually a Family Guy reference to it, too.
Oh, is it in front of the TV?
I think so, yes.
Oh, yeah, I never knew.
It'd be Uber Productions, and you'd hear the dog would bark, and then you just hear a guy go, shit, Ubu, shit.
Oh, I never heard that. No.
So yeah, that's been our episode of Say Report Jr. brought to you by Ubu Productions and Zoff Productions.
Oh my God. Can't say that.
I can say it until they stop me. They'll send a letter. You can find us on Twitter if you search Say Report Jr. That's Say Report JR, and you can find us on YouTube at Say Report Jr. That's Say Report JR. You can find us
individually.
That's the word. I'm at Zerwisky.
And I am at Dale's Brain.
And now we should all get ice cream. I had something for the ice cream thing, and I can't remember what it is now, so we'll just have to move on. There was a joke in my head, and it's gone now. So.
Was it holla for holla? Take it away, Liz!
I hope you can hear the sigh when I...
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts, Dayle Decker and Zach Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.
It's your turn. You start the episode. You're waiting for me to do something, huh?
No, because it didn't. I hit the button and it didn't start. We're stopping, and this is gonna be the end. Because I want to be.
This is going. Our false start is going after the credits.
Yep.
I got a second confirmation on Wikipedia, so whatever.